Hi, Darren. Nice to meet you.
Hello, Serge. Nice to meet you too.
Welcome to the podcast. Um,
Thank you.
yeah, what we usually talk about, um, as I just said to you, yeah, we talk about yourself, uh,
Yeah,
so that people who might be interested in you, obviously potential employers or recruiters, yeah, they can learn about you in their own time, yeah, even before scheduling an interview or anything like that, yeah. So yeah, let's talk about you. You're a software developer, aspiring software developer,
yes, correct.
and which uni?
I'm a recent graduate from the University of Queensland.
Cool. Okay. Is it is it good ranking uni actually? I'm not sure. Is this
It
the
is,
top
yeah.
uni in Queensland? Let me ask it this way.
It's part of the group of eight,
What did
which is
just
the eight. Sorry,
group of what? Sorry.
group of eight is one of the top eight universities in Australia.
Wow. No, I was just saying that they just play with names, yeah. So they just say University of Melbourne, and then it kind of gives them exclusivity. Yeah, everyone thinks that this is the University of Melbourne. And then there's University of Sydney, and then there's University of Queensland. Um, so yeah, but I'm not sure.
But,
I'm not sure how good it
but,
is. Okay, but if you
but I
say
think it,
so, if it's one of eight, yeah,
mm, I think it is the top university in Queensland actually.
not sure. Do we have delay? Can you hear me well?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hmm. Yeah. I think it slowed down a little bit when I started recording. Maybe because it's recording in HD. Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway, okay. Which year? When are you graduating?
I already graduated actually. I graduated earlier this year in July. So it's been a few months.
Oh, in July. Okay,
Mm.
cool. Yes. Oh, cool. Okay. Did you get involved in any projects after you graduated?
After I graduated, not as much. I built a portfolio website as a side project for myself, but
Yeah.
nothing
Yeah, that's cool.
significant.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Right now, there's plenty of opportunities, I would say. Yeah.
Hmm.
So previously, software development was like a, I don't know, closed trade, and you had to earn your way into it. Yeah, to get into like a big company. But at the same time, it was always very open, right? So there's just a lot of open source platforms. There's even clouds now that give you free tier. You can just go and build stuff by yourself. Yeah. And it was always like a green roots project, I think. Like a lot of things started as open source, as community projects, as just self initiative, right? Um, so it's definitely getting more and more accessible. It was always kind of open, but now I think it's getting also easier and easier. You know, there's a lot of materials, free tutorials, everything. If there's any trade that's very open for people to start and to build something on their own or with the community, I think software is still remains kind of the most democratic. Um, so yeah, highly encourage, yeah, every graduate while you're looking for a job to go and join open source, join as a volunteer, as a part timer, whoever. Like now, the world is getting closer. Everyone's open to working remotely. Companies hire remote stuff as well. So yeah, I think if you are really passionate about it, you will definitely get yourself busy. Like I know people who like are so busy that they have to
Mm.
reject reject proposals and projects even if they're not earning, but like I mean also fresh grads,
Yeah.
they just like wanna get their hands dirty and learn from more experienced people, yeah. So and network, obviously get opportunities through that. So highly encourage. What's your tech stack? What are you most familiar with?
My tech stack, so I have a background in web development mostly. So I'm familiar with obviously JavaScript, HTML, CSS, React, and Next.js. And on the backend side, more Python.
Mhm.
Yeah, so more on the front end side, I guess right now at the moment, but I'm more than happy to learn more about the back end stuff.
Yeah. Tell me what you built with that stack.
Um, there's a few. So for my university capstone project, I built a privacy policy analyzer. So basically,
Yep.
it's a website. You input the privacy policy, and
Okay.
it will analyze it and tell you what does it have, what does it not cover, and is it accessible, is it available at all times, the link, and how frequently it is updated, and so on.
Wait, so it's like continuously monitoring it, or you'll just like do it once and it just analyzes it and spits it out?
It will do it every time the user uploads the privacy policy. So there's a cache period, and then if it's too outdated, it will do it again.
Ah, wait, so you actually put in the text, not the link to the privacy policy.
You put the link, and then we'll scrape the text from the
Oh, you put the
link.
link, so it scrapes it. Yeah, okay.
Hmm.
And when if you want to check it again, yeah, at a later date, you can do it. Yeah, but it doesn't
Yes.
check recurrently by itself.
No, no. Yeah, you have to manually input it, and then it will check.
Okay, cool. So what's the purpose of it? Like, who came up with the idea?
Actually, my professor came up with the idea. They did a research about privacy policy quality in mainly Amazon Alexa apps. So they find out like a lot of because Amazon Alexa apps is can be developed by third party developers, and some of these third party developers really
Hmm.
don't put an emphasis on privacy at all. So they just do anything for the privacy policy. They just write maybe placeholder text sometimes. It's not even relevant. So
Yeah,
it's created as a means
yeah.
for users to check if the privacy policy is actually legit, like an easy way for you to check if
Wow.
the privacy policy is correct and not
Okay,
just
okay.
something.
Let's talk about privacy policy because yeah, because I'm that kind of developer. If I build a startup or an app or website, I would exactly use like placeholder standard privacy policy because I know nobody reads it anyway. And
Yes,
it's kind of,
correct.
I think it could be like a blank statement or like a generic one because
Yes,
all the data you share, obviously, it will be kept, yeah, somewhere. And I think it makes sense, like if it's a social network or something, some will be shared. Um, yeah, what else? Tell me about it. Like what it's supposed to cover. Yeah.
what it's supposed to cover. So in the research, they actually outline like about 12 areas that they're supposed to cover. Off the top of my head, I don't
Mhm.
remember, but there's something like
No, just whatever you
how you
remember. Any.
yeah how you store the data. Is the data disclosed to shared to third parties? And
What do you mean? How do you store the data? All data is stored in database.
yeah, how do you, I guess, yeah, that I'm not too sure either.
And it has to be stored. Otherwise, like you capturing data, how can you save it without storing it? Yeah. So you inevitably store it. Okay.
Correct. But I
Okay.
think some
Next.
of the, because if you're looking at the Alexa apps, some of it might not store data because something like a weather app, you just ask, "Hey Alexa, what is the weather today?" They don't necessarily have to
Yeah.
store what you asked. So some of it actually does not
Yeah.
store
Okay.
data.
Sorry. Uh, yeah. So you were working like just in the context of Alexa, or now we're talking about like generic privacy policy for anything, for any website,
The
any app.
The previous research that this project is based on is focused on Amazon Alexa apps. But my website, you can put any link inside. But I guess the metrics that the privacy policy is judged on is came up from the previous research, which is based on the Alexa.
Yeah. Yeah, no, okay. So the research, I think, is a research. Yes. So it just was like foundation for the idea for your professor, right?
Yes.
Okay. So he saw the research, and he suggested the idea, but then idea kind of morphed into a generic thing anyway, right? So we don't need to talk about Alexa because it should cover anything, right?
Yeah, but
So
the
okay,
how we
tell
judge the
me,
privacy
yeah, okay. So tell me a few more points.
about the website. Or, sorry,
Yeah,
a
go
few
on.
more
Sorry,
points.
there's a bit of a delay. That's why
Yeah,
kind of I interrupted you. Yeah.
that's okay. Sorry, what do you want to know more about?
Yeah, so let's just cover more of those 12 points. Yes, so you said one is how you store data. What are the ones you remember?
Oh, it's been a while now. I think there's one about children. Like, do you store data about children, which is important. And then, what else do we have? Don't remember a lot off the top of my head. I can look it up if you want.
Nah, don't worry about it. Yeah, well, just anything you remember. Yeah. So how you store? What's the other one?
Do you disclose the data to third party, and do you store data about children?
Yeah, let's talk about this one. Yeah. Well, that's actually, I think how you disclose, I think that's the most important one, right? Because it means that you are sharing it with third parties. So that's what people really might want to be aware of. Yeah. So can you tell
Correct.
me like what it should be, how explicit it should be, like how it should explain it?
Actually, my my contribution is mainly about implementing the technical side. So the more theoretical side, I'm not too well versed with.
Ah, okay. Wait, did you use any AI for this?
Not AI. We did use some machine learning models to determine the text,
Yeah,
like
okay.
what it contains. But the model is again from the previous research is trained by the other guys.
Okay, no, okay, understood. And then, yeah, okay, so basically it just takes the text and then understands, okay, does it explain exactly explicitly how it discloses the user data or not? And then it just
Yeah.
shows it to the user. Yes, you're kind of
Yes.
you're safe or not safe.
Yeah, and there's other sort of other aspects to it. There's accessibility where you test whether the link is accessible, whether the link inside the links are accessible, and how many language does the privacy policy cover? Because sometimes you need different languages, and how often it is updated. Like when is the last time it's updated, and how many unique updates? How many
Hmm.
is just the same updates? And something like that. Yeah.
Uh-huh. What's the same update? So you kind of you fetch it and then the text is the same. Do you treat it as an update or
No.
non-unique
Um,
update?
so yeah, if the text is exactly the same, obviously it's not a unique update. But how we do that is actually we use what is called the Internet Archive. It's a I think it's a I guess software as a service that you can access over the internet, but it you can put most of the URL on the internet now into it, and it will tell you
So it's like does it
what.
provide an API? Does it provide an API or something?
Yeah, it does provide an API,
Hmm.
and it'll tell you how often it's updated, when it's the last time it's updated, and so on.
Wait, so you don't actually cache the previous version. You compare about against Web Archive.
Yes, the updates part of the web app is entirely depend on the Internet Archive. Yes.
So you didn't even store it, the
No, no,
the privacy
didn't.
policy, like whatever you fetch, scrape, you didn't even store it. Yeah, okay, interesting. Okay, so what happened to that project? Is it live?
It was live. Now I'm not too sure because the backend was deployed on the UQ Cloud Zone, and after I left the university, I'm not sure if my account is still active.
Okay, why? Yeah, okay. So you didn't want to like proceed with it and make it your own project?
Well, it is the professor's idea, and some of the stuff like how we judge the privacy policy is all produced by the university. So I'm not sure if I can just use it.
Ah, yeah, of course, yeah, makes sense. Yeah, so there's like a lot of people that collaborated on it, I believe. Yeah.
It's mainly just me for the implementation, and then all the background stuff is obviously done by a
Oh,
previous
wow.
group.
Okay. Cool. So how did you build it? Like did you build it just by yourself, or it was his supervision? Like as a, like who guided you from the development implementation perspective?
So there was the professor and his PhD student. I think I worked closely with the PhD student to build this project. Yeah, he provided some
Mhm.
guidance whenever I run into some problems, but mostly I have to do all the implementations.
And how did he provide the guidance? Like, did he review your code?
No, not directly. It was more like so
Mhm.
when we had to scrape the text from the privacy policy, sometimes it scrapes the tool is not suitable for scraping or something like that, and he maybe finds
Yeah.
out alternative
Yeah.
tools for me to do that job.
What was the tools?
I think ended up with Beautiful Soup and sometimes Selenium.
Ah, okay, cool. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I used it before. I think. Yeah, there's a problem then when the page is not, how can I say, um, when the content doesn't come with the HTTPS response. Yeah,
Yeah,
it actually loads the dynamic content dynamically, right? So it kind of
yeah,
gives
and
you
it doesn't
blank
scrape.
page, and then it fetches the content that you can only do with, I guess, Selenium. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. That's pretty advanced. Okay, but okay, so it's a software development major, right? So you are trained to be a software developer. Did you
Yes.
work in any team in the uni where you would be peer reviewing each other's code, like as if the team was like a software development team in the industry?
Um, that was a couple times, but yeah. So there was a time where we worked in a group to develop a news
Hmm.
bias detector. This, and we had to build a
Yep.
GitHub repository, and we had to submit pull requests, and people would have to review it before it's properly merged.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So you got that experience, and it's just one project.
There was a couple of projects, but some people take it more seriously than the others. So sometimes the pull request is just merged without being looked at. But throughout all the capstone projects, it's the same structure. So we have the GitHub repo, and we have to create a branch and submit a pull request before it's merged. So no commits directly to the main branch.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. But for this one, why didn't you use this approach, or you did use this approach for this privacy policy
I
analyzer?
did I did sort of use this approach, but essentially it was just me myself, so there's no one else to review it.
Just for yourself, yeah.
Yeah.
What's the point? But that's the main project that you did.
Yeah, that's my thesis,
But
and
you,
there's
so
a
that's
couple,
your main like diploma project, basically.
Yeah. But there's a couple more
Hmm. Hmm.
equally important ones.
Yeah. I'm asking all this because I think what companies are looking for, obviously, especially in the youngsters, like those who start their careers, is okay, can we trust him that he would not mess up our code base, that he would follow the rules, like did he work in the team environment before, or he will be like a burden to us, like we have to
Mm.
teach him like everything from scratch, and I think universities should provide it. Maybe they not always do, but I guess some of the projects, as you said, so they had this kind of flavor of okay, we're a team, we have to respect each other, the code should be understandable, well maintainable, we have to peer review, and collaborate on the code base. So I guess that's a good start. Yeah, it will probably be a little bit different in the company, you will kind of understand, but at least you have some exposure to it.
Yeah. I think each company has their own way of doing things, right?
No, I think they're pretty standard. Yeah, I don't think you would have like okay. So there are, let's say, there are two main ways of working with GitHub of Git. Yeah, and some companies do one, some another, maybe depending on complexity of the project, or maybe if it's like an early stage or already project or product in production. But there is no like 10 different ways companies doing Git, right? So there's only
Okay.
like two ways, right? So, and which are fairly standard, right? And also there are, and I don't think any other companies use any other, um, at the moment, any other version control systems. I think like it's become like the standard as well in itself. So previously there was like subversion. There were I even forgot like what was the other ones. So different. So like you might land into another company and they use different version control system, which like you're not familiar with, how it works. Right now, Git kind of became the standard anyway, right? And with that comes like, which means like you store everything on your side, and then you I don't know, create a feature branch, and then you submit pull request or merge request, and it gets reviewed, rules around that obviously, and then the only question is like what we deploy of the main branch or the feature branch, how we merge, how we release, but those are like a very, I would say, minute differences, right?
Hmm.
So yeah, I don't think it's drastically different company to company.
Okay. That's good to know.
Yeah, but that's what I guess the company is also looking for. Yeah, because they want, because there there is no way you will be just a sole developer somewhere now.
Of
If you
course.
land somewhere, you will be in the team, right? So behaving by the team rules, by those standards, is even more important than your maybe knowledge of particular language, because now with ChatGPT you can even generate code.
Yeah.
By the way, yeah, do you use ChatGPT for the code? Oh, for that particular project, did you use ChatGPT?
Mm, not necessarily. Maybe just minor stuff like
Mhm.
maybe just sometimes if I can't find where the bug is, I tell it and it can actually identify where it is. But other than that, mostly no.
Mm. Why you didn't? Like because it's much faster, much easier.
Yeah. Um, good point. Yeah, I think subsequent projects after that, because it was at the start when ChatGPT first started, but after that, I did more, adapt more of ChatGPT.
Ah, okay. Yes. So now, how do you do things now? Like, do you actually write things, or you just write prompts, generate code, and then kind of tweak it and copy paste it? How do you work now?
I think you have to write the main structure, and then some of the minor features you can maybe generate it, and then you definitely have to change it yourself. It's not just as simple as
Hmm.
copy paste because what it
Okay,
generates might not be exactly what
that's
you
how you.
want.
Yeah, then you change the prompt.
But
No,
I don't know what's your experience with
that's how
ChatGPT.
I
You
do.
can,
I don't know. Yeah, that's how I do. I don't know actually. I don't know what's the current standard. Yeah, maybe everyone's exploring. Maybe there are people who are really good at it, people who don't know how to use it yet. I think it's definitely changing the profession. Yeah,
Mhm.
but I'm not a professional software developer. Like I'm not coding 8 hours a day. Yeah, so I can't tell. I can only ask.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. So
I can't tell. Yeah.
so you can pinpoint the prompts to get exactly what you want from your experience.
From my experience, I only prompt. Yeah.
You only
So I
prompt.
just like if I need to make changes to the code, I just give it quote the code and say make these changes. Yeah. Or if I need a new structure, even I would, let's say if I need another component in React, for instance, right? So I just copy maybe another component, or I just say create me a React component, this and this and that, and then it will give it. I'll probably iterate on it a few times with prompts, and then if I already understand like how I can embed it or integrate it, then I will just start kind of integrating it. Yeah, like adding parameters, or maybe writing some custom code. But like I remember when I was coding like extensively, I didn't write much code at all. So it became easier to do prompts. But the only problem then became is that the prompt can be like you can't exactly explain what you need, and you can't mention everything, and
Yeah,
you can't also copy too much code in it, so you then end up, okay, whatever, like it's much longer to explain what I want in the prompt, especially like after a few prompts that it just did something and you understand, oh, you also forgot to mention this, you forgot to mention this, so it's kind of constantly giving you like not precisely what you want, so okay, forget
yeah,
it, I'll just tweak it myself. But mostly, I think no, yeah, I think mostly like it generates so much because it's just slower to write code manually. Yeah, and I actually started using before I was using Copilot, but then kind of Copilot is not as good as ChatGPT. I don't know for whatever reason. Yeah, and then I kind of switched. So I started copy pasting more. But when if you work with Copilot, maybe you even have to write less. Yeah, because or like I think I remember I combined two as well, right? So you kind of write something and then it kind of suggests you the remaining. Yeah, so you kind of do that. So let's say I can generate like a structure in ChatGPT, copy paste it in, and then for individual methods, I it suggests me the method bodies, stuff like that. Yeah. So yeah, I think advanced developers now do this anyway because it just increases their productivity like twofold or threefold, right? Yeah. So I
I
would
think it's
definitely not shy away from it.
yeah, it's a very good tool, but I think you still have to have a fundamental understanding of the code in order to actually tweak it to what you want.
Ah, yeah, of course, yeah. So you kind of have to judge, be able to judge what you want to get to. Yeah, if it's like complete, like wow, I don't know what's written here.
Hmm.
But that's also good. Yeah, that's how you learn, right? So if you don't know this language, for instance, yeah, it generates for you, and then
Yeah,
you ask it to change it, and you see the difference, and then you start understand the code instead of writing the reading the reference or documentation or learning the language by book, because it explains you like it already learned, like read all the books, so it can explain to you exactly what this structure, and you can ask questions right there in the chat. Okay, explain me this particular line, what does it mean? So it's just much faster than like looking it up with Google search or something, right? So yeah, it's becoming more tailored, more customized, more exactly what you need, which increases your speed anyway, right? So for me, generative AI or ChatGPT becomes like a booster, but also at the same time like a personal, like a teacher, coding teacher. So I feel like I'm learning and I'm being more productive at the same time. It's not like I'm a monkey and I'm just copy pasting and then, oh, I don't know why it failed. Because if it fails, you have to fix it anyway. So you will end up pasting the log error and then the
Yeah.
code and asking to explain what's wrong there. So inevitably you'll have to understand, you'll have to get to the bottom of the issue, and maybe if it's suggested to you, like I remember sometimes you'll try to fix it this way and just like you copy paste the suggested code and it doesn't work again, and then you kind of get into that loop of, oh, this didn't work, this also didn't work, and then it kind of goes in a loop trying to help you. But if you don't understand exactly what the code means, then you'll just be lost and you will also waste time. So it's actually, you have to kind of make an effort and understand what the code actually means. But then again, you would ask it to explain it to you, yeah, and then maybe it will come to you how to restructure it, or maybe do it completely different way, yeah. So it's definitely very interesting how it's structured now. I think it's like pair programming basically with AI, yeah, which before was a common practice, pair programming, but now I think it will be abandoned, yeah, because like why would you do pair programming? Because it was already like it had this um, um, negative PR. That it's like two developers working at the pace of one developer. Yeah, so it's kind of
Mm.
like you produce twice as less code if you do pair programming, but you share ideas, of course, and you the juniors learn from seniors and stuff like that. Yeah. So now I think AI in a way replaced that the other person, like a mentor developer. It's smarter than everyone, even it's smarter than the most advanced developer. So it can teach everyone. It's like a pair programmer, programming partner.
I think there's also concerns to that, right? Like maybe companies they are reluctant to paste their own code base into the AI for privacy concerns or something like that.
Well, no, but yeah, no, but if it's just a piece of code snippet, yeah. So maybe I think I'm not sure actually how exactly it works. If you do the Copilot, does it kind of scan through all of your files or just one file? I don't remember. Like it almost felt like it's missing the context of my project
Mm.
when it gave me suggestions. But ChatGPT, you just paste like whatever you piece of code. Yeah, so it's not like you're dumping the entire code base. But also, I think you can't you now do the enterprise account? I think companies would be doing enterprise OpenAI accounts where it makes sure that it will not be used for learning, it will not be cached, it will not be exposed or shared with other companies, something like that. I'm not exactly sure, but I think there was like options like this.
Mm. I think depends on what type of company you're in, I guess. Because something in like the banking industry, for
Yeah, maybe.
example,
Yeah.
that
Well,
will,
yeah, if it's a big company.
yeah.
Or the industry. Yes, you're right. Yeah. Tell me where you want to be. Like, what you want your first job to be? Like, what are you keen to do?
What am I keen to do? Mostly software development, software engineer. I'm always interested in building stuff since I was a kid. So software kind of provides me with this ability to transform ideas into reality and actually create something that can bring meaningful stuff that can bring an impact and bring benefits to people. I think much like what you're doing with your multiple ventures, it's the same idea of, creating something that people can use and will help people.
Yeah. If you were to choose to work at a startup or a big enterprise company like a bank? What would you choose?
I think it'll very much depend on what the startup is, if I like the product. Because if you personally believe in the product, you will, be more motivated to work on it. Whereas big enterprises, they're also good because there's a lot of mentors you can learn from, a lot of structure there. But sometimes the stuff may be a bit mundane. But obviously, I haven't had that experience, so this is my thoughts now.
Yeah,
But it may change.
yeah, yeah, and you will explore definitely. Yeah, I guess if you like the product, yeah. So you kind of you're deciding. Oh, you kind of it's a startup where let's say the product is cool, but it's like messy, I guess, and it's just the early beginning, and you know that maybe you will be working harder and there will be less structure, or like, oh, there's a bank, maybe more mundane, but you will learn how the software is done on scale, established, you know, just judging, and maybe the same salary. Yeah, so judging from just purely this perspective, what would you like? Where would you choose to be now? Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yes. Wow, great answer, actually. Yeah. Yeah. I wish I answered it this way when I was your age. Um, Tell me, when did you actually start being interested in computers and computer science programming? Like, did you start before uni, or how did you arrive to it? Mhm. Really? That's cool. Wow. So was it like shower, like in Matrix, it was like a shower of characters. It was like that? Wow. Okay, so but tell me, like, how did you? Okay, and that's I wanna know that. Like, was it incidental? Like, or you saw a friend who was into it, or maybe your parent told you, "Hey, you can do this with a computer." Like, how did you arrive like at doing exactly that bash? Like, how did it start? You like what inspired you? Yeah. So a friend, I think. Yeah. Okay. He dragged you in. Were you like a schoolmate? Yeah. Okay. Cool. Did you do much gaming? I know that a lot of tech heads also come from gaming, and they keep gaming as they develop and stuff. Yeah. Oh wow. So it's not related, yeah. So for you, it wasn't like a progression or anything. Like gaming was one thing, and then you break away. I guess you got busy studying, and then you started going like serious about the computer itself, like how it works and how to program it. So it's not related. One not led to another. Mhm. Wow. Okay. So for you, is this a choice for life now, or like where do you see yourself in the far, far future? Like where do you want, like like children, you're not a child, but children like they want to be firefighter or astronaut or whatever. Do you now want to be like do you want to build something? Do you want to be a head of a company? Do you want to be like super good developer? Where do you want to be in future? Hmm. Hmm. Yep. There you go. Yep. Okay, that's your answer. There you go. There you go. That's your answer. Yeah. Because some people may be more scientific about development. They want to write their own language. Whatever. Like they are so into it. They just love code and like how it all works and compilers and stuff. Uh, but what you said is what you said, and it's on record now. In 5 years, you will watch this interview and you will. Okay, did it happen or not? Am I on the right path? Did I change my path? Which is also good. Okay, anything else you would like to say about yourself? Okay, especially when people use it. Yes, yes, built for people. Yeah. By the way, uh, be prepared. Early warning that doesn't matter where you go, startups or big corporations. Maybe a lot of times it happens that obviously startups fail and get shelved. So the software that you wrote and you were passionate about doesn't get used in the end. But the same actually applies in the big corporations. There's a lot of code that was written by teams for a lot of money, allocated internally, and then also projects get shelved or features get cut. So um, just be prepared that okay, like you're like, oh yeah, I've been on this project, and then like yeah, the code is not used, was deleted or somewhere in GitHub or in Git, or yeah, it was discontinued or whatever. So yeah, sometimes a bit frustrating, but when you actually see people use your code and makes you extremely proud, of course. So yeah, I wish you more projects like that. Okay, thanks for doing this. Nice talking to you. See you later. Cheers.